Now I will go and take revenge on them, those f***s. In this video, you will see through the eyes of the Ukrainian drone operator how the operation of storming enemy positions takes place, which involves helicopters, armored infantry vehicles, and infantrymen. And one of the AFU commanders will comment on what is happening on the battlefield. Greetings, friends. My call sign is Abdullah. I am the commander, Terra Division. Terra continues to fight in the Bakhmut direction as part of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. This video will be about the offensive actions of the 1st Mechanized Battalion of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. They crushed a lot of Muscovites there. It all starts with stealthily getting into position, aerial reconnaissance, and dropping grenades from drones into enemy trenches. Guys have already approached those trenches. Thor, come on, there are already targets. Be more active. Thor, come on, they're shooting at ours. Here, this is our position. This is where we are. Here is the enemy. At that moment, Russian artillery shelled the operators. This is a mess, guys. Let's go to the dugout. How are you guys? Thank God no one died. Only one lightly wounded. Now I will go and take revenge on them. The beginning of the assault. Infantry fighting vehicles move to the line of transition to the offensive. Helicopters work on enemy positions with the aim of suppressing them. Heat traps are thrown away as a countermeasure against enemy air defense. Infantry fighting vehicles from the battle order for the offensive. During the movement, there is constant fire at the enemy positions to make it impossible for enemy to use RPG or ATGM. One of the infantry fighting vehicle is moving to the right flank, where according to preliminary information, may be located enemy anti-tank guns. The infantry landed and deploys in battle order. The enemy firing at advanced infantry and equipment without aiming. The infantry moves forward, leading constant fire to suppress enemy positions. We reach the first line of dugouts, cleaning the territory. The battle moves deep into the enemy positions. The storm fighters firing from small arms. Grenades are used, while the enemy is shooting in Somal style, almost without aiming. This kind of fire is low efficiency. It hardly slows down the advance of the assault group. Under the onslaught of the assault group, Russians hid in a dugout. One Russian fighter, without a helmet, runs out of the dugout. He tries to open fire, but the machine gun immediately wedges. It must have been poorly cared for and rarely cleaned. The fighter returns to the dugout, throws a machine gun at his ally. They are starting to fight. It becomes clear that this fighter is a commander. Russians don't really want to battle. They really don't want to leave the dugout and engage in battle with an assault group. The commander throws the machine gun out of the trench. Sits down. It seems that he is angry. But this is enough for the enemy's infantry to leave the dugout and enter the battle. Motivation occurs by pushing infantrymen out of the dugout. In the next frame, we see that the attempt to attack was unsuccessful. Russian occupiers return to the dugout again, conducting chaotic fire. The assault group continues to advance, inspects and clears a captured dugout. They ambush in the trench. Unable to withstand the onslaught of stormtroopers, the enemy retreats. It's hard to tell if he's confused where to run or if he's going on a counterattack. The enemy infantryman was lucky. Stormtrooper's fire punched his helmet. He throws it off his head and runs away. Under the constant fire and onslaught of the assault group, the Russians hide in the dugout, realizing that there is no point in resisting. The assault group continues to move. Conducts aimed fire. Uses a grenade again. Russians start running out of the dugout one by one. The first one is lucky. It was their commander. The second group of fugitives is less lucky, because their retreat route is already under the fire control of stormtroopers. One by one, they continue to try to run away. But it turns out very badly for them. Apparently, the best option would be for them to give up. One of the infantrymen got lost and began to run in the wrong direction. It was a fatal mistake for him. In this frame, enemy artillery is firing at stormtroopers, ignoring the fact that there are still Russian soldiers at the positions. But not a single fighter from the assault group was injured, because everyone was in shelter. Russians who remained in the dugout surrender one by one. Everyone who laid down their weapons, took off their armor, and comes out with their hands raised has this opportunity. Smoke is coming from the dugout. Most likely, the fire started there. Stormtroopers finish clearing the trench and receiving the prisoners. Now they move to the next trench. Pay attention to how the assault group works. Movement takes place exclusively under cover. One part of the group covers, the other moves to the trench and occupies it. The assault group reached the next line of enemy defense. Look how Russian fighters are equipped. They don't have body armor. There is no camouflage. Apparently, their homeland doesn't care about them very much. The stormtroopers came close enough to use grenades on dugouts and trenches. Russian soldier runs away, but he is not lucky. It would probably be a better idea to surrender. Second try to escape, but this one also failed. A small Russian soldier is running away. He ignores his wounded comrades, even though they are still alive, and continues to run. Today he is lucky, and at least in the near future, he will be alive. These Russians are not learning anything and keep running, even though their retreat route is under fire control. This attempt also failed. Those who had the sense to surrender were taken as prisoners. They take off their body armor and throw away their weapons with their helmets. These two Russian infantrymen will live today, and most likely will receive a better treatment than how they were treated during the service. This Russian has a damaged leg, most likely a fracture. Instead of plaster, a board is attached to it. In captivity, he'll receive all the necessary medical care. Nothing will threaten his life. Stormtroopers continue their movement and reach the edge of enemy fortifications. What's left of at least one company of Russian infantry is fleeing across the canal. If you liked today's episode and would like me to continue doing episodes like this next, then let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment. Thank you.